In the previous video, we saw how we can work with a Kanban board. In this video, we'll have a look at how to work with Scrum boards. One of the main differences you might see is in the Kanban board, we already had the issues in our board. So we could already start working with the board, or better said, start working on the issues that are on the board. Well, in a Scrum board, it's a little bit different. How, you might say? Well, because first you have to add your items into the sprint. You have to create a sprint, and then you can work on the topics. A little bit confusing? Well, let's just start with it and it will be easier. So as you can see here, it says there are no active sprints, start time boxes in the backlog. So let's just do it. Click on the backlog, and we can already see we have a couple of items which are in the backlog. Okay, let's just firstly create a sprint. And what is a sprint? Well, a sprint is a specific time frame on which you as a team agree to work on specific items. First thing we need to do is to define our sprint. So Jira gives us some automatic sprint name, but we can change it if we want. We can also add any goal, so goal for the sprint. We can add a custom duration, or we can choose from the durations which are provided by us by Jira. Usually 2-week sprints are the most common. So we can select that, and Jira will automatically fill our start date and end date, and it will say how many working days we also have. So let's create a sprint. And now, as you can see, we have here the sprint, and there are no items into the sprint. There are a couple of ways to add an item into the sprint. The easiest way, as it says here, well, we can just drag items from the backlog into the sprint. So we can add one or more items. Also, we can take items from the sprint and put it into the backlog. And let me also add a bug there and an epic. Okay, now that we have a sprint, you can see here, so we have the sprint, we have the time frame, we have the goal, we have the items. We can even create issues which are then automatically added into the sprint. But let's do that as well, why not? Test one. Now, since we have a couple of items here, we can start our sprint. Ignore this for now. We're going to have a separate section on estimations. Usually, it is recommended that you have a value for the estimated field of an item, because since you as a team agree to work on a specific number of items in a certain amount of time, you have to make sure that you are able to actually handle all the items. So let's just ignore this for now and start the sprint. And now, as you can see, we have now the issues. And from this point, it's pretty similar to what we did with the Kanban board. So we have the quick filters, so which we can use. And we can also start to configure the board. The options are actually the same. So we have the general information regarding name and filters. We can define the columns. See, we can even see here the column that we created for the Kanban board. We can add another one for the Scrum board. And category to do. And let's just put it right here. We can show the number of days. Perfect. We can define our swim lanes. At the moment they're per story. We can go per assignee again. We can do the same with the quick filters, so define our own quick filters or remove the ones that are existing, or even edit the ones that are existing. Updated. We can give a color to the cards. We can change the card layout. So let's see, we can add assignee and let's see. Labels. And we can do the same here. We define the backlog, and here we can do the same for the active sprint. Estimations. Well, this is what we saw before when we had that error. We're going to ignore this for now because we're going to cover estimations in a further video. Here are the working days. So we can define non-working days for the whole project. I don't know, like Christmas, Easter, and so forth. And our detail view of the items. Now let's go back to the board. As you can see, we have again a certain organization in place, and we can start to work with the items. Sprint completion we're going to cover in the next video, since this one is getting a little bit too long. But as you can see here, that this is one of the particularities, or one of the differences between Kanban and Scrum boards. So you can choose to complete the sprint. Usually you do this at the actual end of the sprint. But like I said, we're going to see sprint completion in the next video. See you in the next one.